In the introduction to India's foreign policy and in the evolution of India's foreign policy from Nehruvian time to the present time, I talked about idealism and realism. So, but I would like to elaborate it a bit more because there can be questions on this. I have seen even in some of the state PCS exams, they have asked this question, even in preliminary, to make the difference between this idealism and realism in foreign policy. So, this is a very important concept. And we should understand that we are when the Nehruvian time was more idealistic in nature, now it is more realistic, and nothing wrong depending upon the situation, depending upon the mindset of the leadership. So these are all sometimes the high moral standards, high principled position. So principles of a particular time may not be the principles of another time. So it happens, but still idealism has its own value. It may not be fetching immediate results, but it has its own. Even today, if India is respected by the African countries, it is only because of that high idealism and the steps taken by Prime Minister Nehru at that time in promoting the interests of the African countries and the immediately decolonized countries. Even today, African countries recognize the contribution by India in fighting against racialism, the fight against apartheid in 1980s. During Rajiv Gandhi's time. Even today it is being well recognized by the countries. So idealism has its own value. It may not be high principles. High principles are involved in it. But realism is immediate benefits may be seen. So there is a huge difference. Anyway, now let us talk about idealism and realism. Idealism and realism in foreign policy. So idealism in the foreign policy, it holds that a nation should make its internal political philosophy, internal political philosophy, the goal of its external affairs also. Either the politics or rather its internal political philosophy is the goal of its external affairs also, in the goal of its international affairs also. International affairs also. In fact, an idealist or a country which following idealism may believe in ending poverty in the country, and they will be interested in global eradication of global poverty also. And a country which follows idealism may be interested in promoting democracy, democratic institutions in the country, and they will be interested in promoting democratic institutions across the globe, even democratization of the international institutions also. But many a times we can see that countries like US, like Donald Trump, he follows realism, America first, American interests first, everything else they have no interest. Today, American president has no respect for the UN. They have no respect for WHO. They have no respect for any international institution or any international agreement they have signed. Even the US under Trump has walked out of the agreement signed with Iran, the P5+1 agreement, where US was a party to that. 6 countries from one side and Iran signed an agreement. Even in that agreement, US has unilaterally walked out. The US has signed the Trans-Pacific Partnership and a free trade agreement. When Trump came to power, during Obama's time it was signed, when Trump came to power, he walked out of that treaty unilaterally. So these kind of policies where you are concerned only about narrow self-interest, we call it as realism. So what you pursue internally should be pursued externally also. That is what we are talking about, idealism. But the irony of the situation is, this idealism was pursued by some of the great American presidents in past. In fact, the former American president Woodrow Wilson is considered to be the architect of idealism in foreign policy, the early advocate of idealism in foreign policy. In fact, during the First World War, the end of the First World War, he was instrumental in creating the League of Nations. Yes, League of Nations failed, but the intention behind the League of Nations were very noble. And he really believed that a peaceful world can be created. And Wilson's idealism was a precursor to the liberal international relations theory. Wilson's idealism was a precursor, an early advocate of idealism is a precursor to liberal international relations theory. Liberal international relations. He was the first advocate, he was a precursor to the liberal international relations theory. And in fact, after the Second World War, FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, is another proponent of idealism. He was instrumental in creating the UN and various UN organizations. So, a big step by him, even institutions like ILO and many things happened in between. So, idealism is a foreign policy tool whereby what you pursue as your internal political philosophy, the internal political philosophy is also your external political philosophy. That is what is pursued in idealism. The core of Wilson's program, as well as even FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt was also known as FDR. It resulted in the creation of League of Nations and United Nations. And they wanted an international institution which is committed to peace and to bring down tyranny, which was considered to be the root of all the wars. So they wanted to create an international institution which can bring in peace and it can root out tyranny, which was considered to be the root of all the problems and all the wars. So the idea was that if democracy could be widespread, peace and prosperity would prevail. So during their time, the idea was that if democracy could be widespread, if we can spread democracy, we can promote democracy, if democracy could be widespread, peace and prosperity would prevail. Peace and prosperity will prevail. Peace and prosperity will prevail. So that was the philosophy. So they believed in democracy and they wanted to promote democracy across the world. They wanted to create institutions which believe in democratic principles. They want to create institutions which believe in human rights so that peace and prosperity can be promoted across the world. So that is what we mean by idealism in foreign policy. The internal political philosophy to be promoted externally also. If you believe in democracy, if you believe in eradication of poverty in India, eradication of poverty in the world should also be part of our philosophy. If you promote democratic decentralization, it should be a philosophy for everyone. So it cannot be one policy here and you promote something else externally. If you believe in multiculturalism in India, we should be respecting multiculture across the globe of various countries, various nations, everything has to be there. Coming to realism, realism is the opposite. Realism is the real politic, which was promoted by self-interest. Self-interest is the most important thing in realism. What is good for you at that time? Like when Donald Trump talks about America first, it is pure realism. So it is opposite of idealism. He is diametrically opposite to what FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt or Woodrow Wilson spoke at that time. Even people like George Bush, they are more realistic than idealistic. They only talked about American interest. See, they never talk about the larger interest of the humanity. Being the leader of the world, being the number one country in the world, they should be speaking about the humanity also. In Corona time, these leaders should be, if Donald Trump talks about how to tackle Corona globally, worldwide, if he takes the leadership, but unfortunately Donald Trump talks about how to reopen the economy of US so that some peanuts can be made immediately or some more money can be made immediately. He's not worried about lives. He's not even worried about the lives of the American citizens. Worried about the lives of Africans or Asians. So anyway, so this realism revolves around four central propositions. There are four propositions in realism, four central proposition. Number one, realism believes that the states are the central actors in international politics. State means the countries. India, US, all countries are the central actors. Countries are the central actors, or the states are the central actors. They are the main players. Rather than international, there is no role for international organization. The UN is not playing any role, WHO will not be playing any role. So, no role or less role for international institutions. So, first presumption, or rather the first proposition is states have a central role, the countries have a second primary role, and the international institutions have no role. Second, international political system is anarchic and there is no supranational authority to enforce rule. Anarchic. The international system is anarchic in nature. The international system is anarchic in nature. There is chaos in the system. There is no single authority who can implement the rules. Then nobody will listen. There is no supranational, larger institution which can implement the rules. There is no one particular institution can implement the rules. Anarchic in nature. Number three, states act in their rational self-interest only. States means the countries will act only in self-interest. States act in self-interest. Their only concern is self-interest, what is good for the country and nothing else. And all states desire power to ensure self-preservation. They all wants to enhance their power. Enhance their power. The states want to enhance their power. The states want to enhance their power. So, realism believes that there is nothing called philanthropy, there is nothing called peaceful coexistence. Everyone is interested in their self-interest. States are the primary actors, there is no international organization which can control them. The international system is anarchic, there is no supranational authority which can implement the rules. The states are interested only in self-interest and states want power, they want to expand their power. All are expansionist in their mindset. So, real politics, they want to do only in self-interest. If we do something only, see now in the corona time, India was willing to supply chloroquine, the medicine for, it is not a medicine, it is said that it can help in controlling the pandemic. So, India was more than willing to supply this chloroquine to various countries in the world, including US. So, this is a concept of idealism. What we think it is helpful for us to fight the corona can be used for others also. We would like to help others also in this fight. So, this kind of a policy which tries to help others also along with our fight. What we pursue as internally is our policy externally also, then it is idealism. If you are working only in self-interest, if your only concern is how to maximize our profit, many times we feel that China is doing that. China follows more realism than idealism. China used their muscle power in controlling the countries of Southeast Asia. The South China Sea, in South China Sea, the policy of China is realism, not idealism. In Central Asia, China is following realism, not idealism. The Belt and Road Initiative of China is realism, not idealism. But in India, what is practiced in Africa, we say that we would like to empower Africans, we would like to support them, we would like to work in the national interest or the self-interest of Africans also, not just India's interest. We are not, when we don't pursue neo-colonialism, when we don't pursue neo-imperialism, we are promoting the idealism in foreign policy. We are not only looking at India's interest, if you are also looking at the interest of the other country also, the Africans also, a win-win situation if we are talking, then we can say it is more idealism and less realism. If you are looking only at your interest and your money making, like what Donald Trump is doing right now, the President Trump is doing, or Xi Jinping of China is doing, then it is more realism and less idealism. So, this is something, there is a dilemma and Prime Minister Modi and India, if we can pursue more idealism, our value, our strength, our internal strength, everything will increase. And people will look at India in a better light. If you pursue realism and only self-interest and immediate financial benefit, it can be counterproductive in future. See, now Chinese are discredited. Donald Trump is discredited because of their realism in their foreign policy. So a major difference, and it is always good for a country like India, a Nehruvian philosophy. What we have learned from all these great leaders, from Mahatma Gandhi, from Nehru, from Ambedkar, what we learned is this idealism, and it is always better for leaders like Prime Minister Modi to follow idealism than realism. Let us not emulate Chinese. Let us not emulate the Chinese philosophies. Let us not emulate Donald Trump. These are exceptions. They are not the rule of the world right now. And this is the difference between idealism and realism. And I hope you could make a distinction. That's all for this.